So within e-commerce, we see themes such as personalization and customization developing, especially within a new crop of companies, DTC companies. I'm excited today to have Phillip Raub join us. He's been on our stage previously when he was working at Beta, the pioneering retailer in the electronic space. And now he's running Model Number, a company that's exploring those themes of personalization and customization in the home and home design space. Hey, Phillip, great to have you.
Pierce, thanks. Excited to be here and the opportunity to kind of share kind of what I'm doing these days.
That's great. So I don't think many people are going to be familiar with your company, with Model Number. I wonder whether you can just give us a quick overview.
Model Number is, ironically, we've been around for a couple of years, but not really in the public eye. So for about the first 2 years, the company was really working behind the scenes on figuring out how we can bring products to market in the furniture and the home furnishing space much faster, I think, than what you kind of see today. And so really the goal of the company is twofold. It's one, to be able to provide furniture and home furnishings on demand. To your point around both customized and personalized means that the consumers can order, kind of made to order. And then the second piece of it is that there's a really large sustainability component. So we realize that there's a lot of waste that's happening within the furniture space. So all of our products are manufactured from either food waste or recycled and reclaimed products.
Well, I look forward to diving into all of those themes. I mean, within the kind of home decor, home design space, my perception is that retail sector has been very traditional. You'd have to walk into a space and find a piece of furniture, whether at the low end or the high end, and it hasn't and it's been resistant to change. What's happening in the consumers' minds in terms of how they want to buy, when they want to buy, what they want to buy?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, generally speaking, if you look at the furniture, the home furnishing space, consumers, especially even large ticket items, right? Consumers were very accustomed to having to go in, kind of kick the tires, so to speak, see the product, sit on a product, see it. I would say that a lot of that still probably rings true, but obviously the events over the last, let's call it year, have really changed the way that people are purchasing products, especially home products. People are buying things, sight unseen. So I think there's a lot of requirements that websites are having to kind of upgrade, using a lot of more kind of digital imagery and CGI type of formats to communicate to the consumer what a product may look like in someone's home. So customers are kind of almost forced to change the way that they were shopping, especially for larger items. And so I think that bodes well for brands that have more of a digital footprint. It's not to say that physical retail is going to go away. I do think that people still probably, they're probably going to see a lot of returns, probably here in Q1 in certain things, but I do think it has made it so that consumers at least feel like that they can make that initial purchase. And then the thing what we're doing at Model Number that I think is uniquely different is that we can allow people to go in and customize things. So you can choose, let's say that you have just moved from your apartment in New York, like a lot of people maybe have, and moved into a larger space. And you need that table that maybe isn't going to be the cookie cutter, 72 inches long. You need something that's going to fit into a space that maybe is 78 inches long. So rather than maybe the next option up under traditional furniture would have been something a little bit maybe 84 inches, you can go in and develop and say, I want something specifically this length and this width. Traditionally, that would take maybe 6 months for you to get. We can turn around something like that in 4 to 5 weeks.
That's amazing. How does that happen? How do you create product in 4 to 5 weeks?
A couple ways. One, we're using two different methods of automated production. So in traditional manufacturing, typically you have to create molds. You have to maybe wait till an order is placed, and because most companies just aren't set up necessarily to be doing things on demand. So for us, it's we have both do CNC fabrication, which is something that's been around for quite a while now. And then the other type of thing that we're doing is 3D printing. And so what happens is the minute that an order comes in, it goes straight from the order queue right onto the kind of the production line versus having to kind of sit and wait in a queue or wait till something happens and then shipped from Asia, gets on a boat, goes into a dock, goes to a distribution center, and eventually gets to a consumer's home. All of our stuff is done here domestically, and can be done, like I said, the minute the order is comes in, it goes right into the queue for production.
Yeah, last night as I was prepping for this interview, I was spending some time on your website. I was enjoying it so much that I was missing having an office, because I'd love to kind of fill my office with some of the kind of wild and super interesting designs that you have. One of the things that I noticed and I enjoyed was the customization and the kind of design feature. I guess over the last few years, I've always seen kind of 3D rendering tools, but there's something about technology that's advanced which allows this to be very seamless. Can you speak to that at all in terms of the digital experience?
Yeah, so we realize that there's two types of consumers. There's a consumer that wants something that's very easy, that they can kind of almost just like a preset option where you go in, you get kind of the base model, maybe you pick kind of the wood, and you maybe change a dimension here and there, and to meet a specific space, and you kind of call it a day, and you add to cart. But then we also found that there's a lot of other consumers that are wanting a little bit more, and you're starting to see this. You can design your own sneakers. You can go into websites, and there's made to measure clothing that's happening online. So a lot of different categories are starting to see this, which so it's making a lot more commonplace. So consumers are coming in and they can go into our design studio and they can start to play with things like shape, different size, different kind of color variations. So it becomes really fun for the consumer to come in and to explore. And we're finding that more and more people are starting to kind of come in um, to customize pieces in maybe ways that they hadn't in the past. We're finding it typically people are starting more on the low end with smaller price items, just to kind of get a feel for it. And then once they've been able to engage with the brand, then you start to kind of see them coming into to touch and to try things. I think on a grander
I
scale.
mean, it's kind of interesting, kind of that point about touch or buying home decor seems to be such a sensorial experience in the past. How do you overcome that, or um, how do you kind of feed those desires or respond to those desires?
It's definitely challenging for sure. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I started at model number, or before I started, I think that was a concern that I had. Because I took over the position as the CEO in early July, so right in kind of the throes of the pandemic, and things are happening. And so that was one of the big questions I had, was like, this product looks interesting, it looks really cool, I love the concept, but what's the stuff really, before I make this large commitment to say that I'm going to come on board, I felt like I needed to kind of see the product. And I think one of the things after I did get a chance to kind of get hands on, I said that we needed to do as an organization, we started to upgrade our photography, our imagery, again with digital imagery, getting people creating different environments. And so those are the things that we're in the process of early part of this year of upgrading, and have been working with a couple of different companies to create the environment so people can really get a much closer kind of sense of what the product looks like. We'll also start to kind of be working closely with kind of customer recommendations and reviews, which people have worked very well in the past. And so those are all things that I think we're going to continue to invest in. I don't think that physical retail is dead. I do think that for us, we will start to explore what that looks like. Probably in the latter part of 21, when people are a little bit more. I think there's a lot of pent up demand for people to get back out there and into physical retail, and I think for us, we're going to find a unique way to do that. But I think those are all things that become challenging. But I think there's a lot of technology that's out there today that allows you to kind of overcome a lot of those issues.
Well, that's really exciting. It's always interesting and fascinating to talk to you, especially as you kind of pioneer together with the team at Model Number, the future of retail and the kind of future of business. So Phillip Raub, CEO of Model Number, I really appreciate your time today.
Pierce, always a pleasure, and thanks for having me.